So, how was it to work for 70 to 80 hours in a daily? You used to work 70 to 80 hours?
I mean, I disagree with that. I've had the best of time in my corporate life, a very balanced life, lovely family life, lots of friends in the corporates I worked in, and complete balance in everything that I could do. I have my limitations, so why would I expect somebody to work like donkeys? No.
You have traveled across, right? So, what are the challenges you see over in India or over in different countries as a woman entrepreneur?
I've been a risk taker. I have gone into it daringly, solved problems on the way, not deterred by anything. I didn't try to misuse my status as a woman. Abla nari status I don't like. I don't like privileges. Again, I'm controversial. I don't like the fact that today's women get 6 months for maternity leave and still crib. Why do you want to mess with the career of another man who has to struggle?
Welcome everyone to High on Why podcast. I am Sukhita, your host. We are thrilled to have Anuradha Biswas ma'am with us. She's a visionary leader in the tech industry. She's the founder of Prakat Solutions, a dynamic subsidiary of Dalrada Corporation and former employee of Infosys. Her company is a powerhouse providing comprehensive technology services. Prakat Solution is making significant strides across various industries, offering end-to-end solutions. Thank you for being here. We're very eager to learn from you.
Thank you, Sukhita, for having me over. And by the way, you have a lovely name.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, what was your background before founding this company, and how did your journey into entrepreneur start?
Thank you. I think for a person like me, this was a very valid and comfortable warm up question, I would say. I started my journey in the electronics industry and then moved into the software field, like many people in my generation. And I would say, I'm thankful to the companies I worked in, with companies like Verifone and Cybercash. Before I moved to companies like CA and Infosys, where in each of these jobs, they let me be a free spirit, which essentially means or meant that I was an entrepreneur within the companies I worked in. So, in a way, my entrepreneurial journey was nurtured by these four very good companies. The foundation was laid in my stint with CA, where I built up one of their offerings in India, and it reached greater heights in Infosys, where I had the freedom to grow a large business unit. That set the foundation for me to become an entrepreneur.
Okay. So, how was it to work for 70 to 80 hours? That really used to work 70 to 80 hours? What is your take on it? It is just a
Are you
general
talking
question.
about my journey as an entrepreneur or in the corporate world?
Corporate world.
Totally, I mean, I disagree with that. I've had
Okay.
the best of time in my corporate life,
Okay.
a very balanced life, lovely family life, lots of friends in the corporates I worked in, and complete balance in everything that I could do. So when people say 70, 80 hours, over a month? I don't know. I'm just, sorry, I'm just kidding. No, it's, after all, they are also people. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I have risen in the ranks and have gone to leadership levels. I have my limitations, so why would I expect somebody to work like donkeys? No, these are all, I totally disagree with this fad that has been put out.
Okay.
Because I know I've had two
Yes.
pregnancies in two different companies. I know how they've stood by my side. So, or many other things,
Okay.
right? It just doesn't end at delivering a baby. You know what it means to. So
Right.
all along there has been so much support. So
Okay. So, what were your challenges? Like, for example, being as an entrepreneur, you started. So, what were your challenges, and also your challenges in your corporate world? How did you overcome those challenges?
So, in terms of in the corporate world, for example, there was we built up our business very well in one of the business units in Infosys. A lot of support. The challenges are, of course, more about customers liking your services. Those kind of challenges I don't want to touch upon. But when we grew well and we grew North America and certain parts well, as a business unit, we wanted to grow in other parts of Europe and things like that. So there was a lucrative opportunity to go to Switzerland
Yeah. Yeah.
and other parts of Europe to grow that. And the company thought I was the perfect candidate for that.
Okay.
And my family was also willing to support me. You go there, we will come there whenever. But the shackles I talked about, the good or bad, I built that golden cage around myself. I wanted to be there for my children. Okay, I've always been a globetrotter, but at least I wanted to come home after those
Right. Right.
4 weeks, 6 weeks of traveling.
Yes, of
And I had a 2, 3 year old child. Then I didn't have the heart to leave everything and
Yeah, of
go
course,
there
it's
alone.
not easy.
It would have meant dislodging all of them and going there where I go there to experiment in a new
Yeah.
environment. And so these kind of challenges. As an entrepreneur, the fear of failure, the fear of losing a paycheck. These are some of the initial challenges. You have to orient yourself.
Yes.
You've made the transition yourself. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is one thing. Market acceptance for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
To a large extent, beginning was not difficult for me because thanks to my past experience, the credentials was established for me. I would say I faced challenges in growth phase.
Okay. So you say that there is definitely a challenge in the growth phase for a woman.
I don't know if it is about, meaning if you're talking about, I meant to say growth phase of my company, Prakat.
Okay.
In the
Okay.
in the
No,
corporate
I am talking
world,
about your
in the
personal growth phase. Do you really feel that women has a difficulty in their growth phase of their career?
No, maybe. Again, I'm going to put these riders in front of you. I'm from a very socially confident family
Okay. Yeah.
in Mysore. All the women are very dynamic, including my grandmom, who set up at the age of 40, after 8 children. She set up a microfinance unit to help the underprivileged women. She set up a school for the underprivileged
Okay,
with, of course, other well-meaning women. These are the women who should be sitting and talking to you. Unfortunately, they're all somewhere above in heaven, right? This is a story from the 1960s that I'm telling you. Coming from that background, I was socially confident. I studied in schools where there was no bias, there's no bias anywhere. So let's say I didn't have that layer of fear in me.
Yeah. So
I
I
could-
understand probably you have a, better
Advantage, probably.
because of your upbringing.
And schools.
Yeah.
And how I was set free. So again, what is a corporate? At the end of it, you work with a bunch of people, right?
Yeah, yeah. Correct.
Let's be very clear. However big the corporate is, or however small your own enterprise is, in a given day, your sphere of influence is with 8 to 10, 20 people max in a given day. It's about how you engage and how you put forth your points. So, to answer your question in a different way, the limitation for a woman, definitely, probably in India, there is a social situation where, because I see that we are in 2025 now, and I'm comparing my journey from 1992 onwards. I'm probably more progressive than a lot of young girls I see who come from certain family backgrounds where they have been told that family comes first, your husband's career comes first, whatever. Maybe they are told. I still see TV, whatever, soaps
Yeah.
and movies
There
of
are
that
a lot
nature.
of situations, a lot of families, maybe they would have been, good at like you upbringing, or probably they have a very good background of education, but still they are being expected to, look after the family first and then go out. So what do you have to say to them?
Both in Infosys, where there were a lot of women, 48% of workforce in women when I was there till 2009 were women. So we wanted to make sure they don't drop out. So we made sure there are a lot of us women who had gotten past that, set up crash, many things. And we set up help desk to make sure women come back to work and don't lose out. We try doing all this.
Okay.
But
So
yes,
was there any different policies based only for women?
You are lucky to be in an era that you have 6 months
Yes.
maternity leave.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
not from that era. For the woman, again, I am not undermining the family background
Yeah.
differences in upbringing, okay? Both in my home, in my parents' home and the family I married in, my mother-in-law herself was a working woman,
Okay.
right? So if you look at it, they instilled in me, please trust others to take care of your children. If that is done, please trust others to take care of your children. So I had a full-time person who would support.
But I'm
my
not sure that is also not that easy to trust, somebody else to take care of the children. So how can you overcome that?
Again, that's what you think. Maybe, again, I go back to how you're raised. My mother gave birth to me. She's the Devaki, but there have been several Yashodas in my life. Okay? That's the reality. There have been.
Yeah. True,
My
true,
aunt,
true.
anybody could
True,
give one
yeah, yeah.
whack on your head, one aunt, and straighten you if you're in the wrong direction. Okay? So that means grandmoms, aunts, part joint family we were. But what I'm saying is, even when we lived alone in a different city, or we lived in joint family situations, both. I've lived in both. You were raised to believe that you are trusted with this set of people. So I don't have that fear. I know, for instance, the lady the nanny who took care of my daughters, probably she did more for them than what I would have done myself. I would have given up if they don't eat those last few morsels of food. Okay, she wouldn't give up on them.
Okay. You were
So I'm
lucky to
actually
have
grateful.
one then, yes.
In a way, I think it helped me personally, because more than what are the challenges, I want to tell solutions to youngsters who are giving up. So I want
Right.
to tell the positive things in my life. I'm probably the third child in my home. By keeping yourself, see, the woman has to lose her ego and has to be secure that you can trust your family with others, whether it's your old father, mother, mother-in-law, or children, and not be possessive about where things should be or how things should be cooked.
I'm sure you were very blessed to have a nanny like this. But what about the, education?
And my mother-in-law lived with me. My mother was always by
okay.
my side when I
Okay.
traveled.
So how about the education of your children? Because I'm sure education system back then was also not easy. It's never easy, right? So always there should be a helping hand of either of a parent, right? So how do you do
Really,
that?
I am not at all. I'm BSc pass, but I'm unpad at heart. I don't have the ability. I don't think I have the ability to teach my kids. You have to be there by their side to let them go through their mistakes. Let them make mistakes. Make them independent and self-sufficient.
Okay.
How much can I know? I speak reasonably good English. I'm good with a few languages.
yeah.
I'm good with maybe fair amount of arithmetic. I studied in state board syllabus. My kids studied in ICSE. I took one look at their syllabus and almost fainted.
Okay.
Fainted. So I don't have the ability to teach them.
Okay.
So then what do? You surrender.
So AI is the biggest trend in every industry right now. So how
Are we
you?
back to my original?
Yes, I'm coming back to, because this is like
This is a very
going into
controversial
a very
topic.
controversial topic right now. So I'm just back to your sector. So AI is being biggest trend of all the industries right now. So how is your company putting those application into modernization?
Okay. So if you look at definitionally what AI is, it has to make your life more easy and predictable.
Yeah.
Right? So if we step back in time and look at how we brought in automation into, what did tech do? Essentially, what did an Infosys as an IT services company, or all the companies who built products did? They automated day-to-day work processes in a bank or a retail environment, so on and so forth. Some more deep tech. Now, with AI, the hope is that we are bringing in better predictability
Okay.
to how that business will function. So I go back to that definition. I bold, italics, underline. AI will be useful only if it brings about predictability and improvement in operations, brings in operational efficiency. That is its value add. If you're expecting AI to bring in new innovation, I think we are doomed.
Okay.
We are doomed. So the intelligence in AI should go towards making operations more lean and efficient, so that human mind is free to innovate more.
Okay.
I think my company is heading towards,
Okay.
at least our humble efforts, we are a cog in the wheel in this large universe of tech. Our humble effort in the chosen field is to bring about
Okay.
this.
So coming to Prakat, okay. So I would like to know more about what Prakat is and what Prakat does. And I've also read saying Prakat empowers the differently abled
Thank you
people
for
as well.
noticing that. Yeah, I hope you
So,
would
yeah.
notice that
So
about
how
me.
is that, you help them?
Yeah. Again, since you were talking about AI, everything ultimately is about inclusion, right? When we talk about women, what is it that we want? Inclusion in
Correct.
workplace is the key thing, right? Similarly, our effort for people with disabilities, that is the term used. PWD is a common terminology. We
Yeah.
don't have to shy away from it and say
Yeah, yeah.
differently able, right? They want inclusion in using apps, in businesses, in social environment, in work environment. So right from the beginning, Prakat's endeavor, let's say uh, Swiggy, you can check. I don't know how accessible it is. Anything, I'm sure it will be
Yeah.
because today everybody is more socially sensitive.
Yes.
But 10, 12 years ago, there were certain apps. I cannot take names for
Yeah.
booking cabs, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It was not accessible till about 5, 6 years ago.
True, true.
It was not accessible for use. That means the whole idea of building an app is to make it easy for people. But you're leaving out the very people who need the most.
Correct, correct.
Banks, online bank solutions were not accessible for use for especially
Yeah.
visually impaired.
Yes.
See, I think in the tech world, the most affected people are people with visual impairment, right? Because it's so visual, no?
Yes,
All our
yes,
tech is
yes.
very, the user experience is visual. People who are deaf and mute or people with motor skills have lesser issues. There
Lesser
are
issues.
some,
Yeah.
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 For me, it was very natural when I started Prakat. That was like my Atma, like
Okay.
it's my soul story. Even if
Okay.
I have only rasam rice that I am capable of earning and not ghee also to put on top of it, I'm going to share that rasam rice a little bit with them, was my thing. So, what we did, on one hand, we had Mitra Jyoti here.
Okay.
So, we trained, handpicked and trained several people to be able to work in the IT field. So it was a two-pronged strategy or vision for Prakat. A, inclusive workforce and inclusive technology. These are two parallel tracks for me,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Now, why are you looking at inclusive workforce? Now, if they are included in the workforce force upfront, when you are developing all these websites, apps, whatever the evolution is, you are treating them as an end user and a business user, and you're not doing because you're feeling sad for them. They're going to be 12% of the global population has some disability or the
Yeah, yeah,
other.
yeah.
Let's safely assume out of that 6 or 7% would be visually impaired. What does that mean? 6 to 7% is a large community of people, you're leaving them out, right? So they become your best user experience
Correct, correct.
evangelists or whatever you want to call it. So I looked at it as a business opportunity more than a charity thing.
Okay.
So when we looked at it that way, over the last 14, 15 years of existence, globally we have trained about 5,000 people with disabilities to be able to join the workforce in IT.
Okay.
That
okay.
is one parallel effort that will keep going on.
Okay.
Then to build awareness, we do something called as Global Accessibility Awareness Day
Okay.
every May. That is one thing. It's more an awareness thing. And all our softwares, when we work with other customers to build their softwares, though they would have come with us, hey, can you build this for me? We tell them, please think about this too.
Okay.
Design this upfront. Build this upfront. We do that evangelizing
okay.
and make sure.
So I know you are also in Rotary, and you are a
Yeah.
president of
Rotary
Rotary
Koramangala.
Koramangala. So
You're a Rotarian too.
yes. So does that help you? Something like this coming up with for visually impaired. Did this help you out?
Yes.
Being an experienced Rotary member.
Yeah, it did. For example, actually, not even just for visually impaired. just by virtue of being in tech.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned, right, when we were having this chat, Rotary is a service organization.
Yes, yes.
But you must know, you intend to start your own Rotary Club, I understand,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So when you do that, you'll know the operational demand and whatever is there is same as running your own company. I've set aside my life. All the things I learned in my corporate and entrepreneurial journey is what is coming to use in Rotary
Okay.
and my tech skills. What do we do? As much as possible, we'll try to automate, bring in AI where needed, and a lot of work has been made easy. So, similarly, what we do upfront, a lot of focus is there in our services in Rotary Koramangala. Oh, Rotary Koramangala, for whatever reason, nothing to do with me. It's a 39-year-old Rotary Club. Has ironically
But you're
been-
the president right
right,
now.
but has ironically focused on avoidable blindness.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Rotary Koramangala has always been a pioneer in avoidable
So
blindness.
you have been working with both your profession.
Serendipity, this is.
Yeah, correct.
Everything matches.
Yeah, matches. Yeah.
Yeah, so what we could do, we made some of the Rotary websites accessible. For example, there is a lot of youth oriented programs in Rotary where
Yes,
online digital content is there.
Correct.
We've made a lot of those programs accessible.
Okay.
These kind of contributions we are making. So my tech knowledge is coming of use in that way,
In that way.
where the digital content outreach is more for
Is
people with disabilities. There's another aspect of accessibility. The rural community may not know so much of English. Accessibility is not only about people with disabilities, language disability.
Right.
So we are doing translations for Kannada,
Okay.
Telugu also.
Lovely, lovely, ma'am. Nice to know all of these. This is really, I think this would definitely inspire, young entrepreneurs or young people who want to join Rotary or whoever want to start up their own business, right?
And
And
people
I
who are
feel-
joining Rotary, you should know, you're much younger than
Yes,
me,
yes.
and you have a brother who's very dynamic, Rotary, Rotac, whatever. They are a good source of learning for many things, for networking, building your business. So people who think Rotary is just about service,
Yeah,
not
there is
necessarily.
a notion definitely among the young people that Rotary is for more for service based
It is.
thing.
It is.
Yes.
But you also benefit a
You
lot.
also benefit a lot as an entrepreneur. So
Yeah, so Prakat has all along been focused on making sure that is one, we even on our deathbed will make sure that the next person will make sure all our softwares are inclusive and accessible.
yes, I'm sure Prakat is 15-year-old company now, right? So what is the vision, for the other 5-10 years? How you want to bring in Prakat for the next generation?
See, at all times we have been relevant in terms of technology changes. In fact, we started as somebody pioneering in open source technologies long ago. Large companies, large corporates worked with us because we could build small, meaningful solutions in open source, and now we are doing that in AI. Similarly, being relevant is one thing. Scale in terms of the kind of solutions we'll solve is my need. If you look at the current trend in the industry, in terms of how people who are employed look at life, nobody wants to be a full-time. Many people, not nobody.
Yeah.
There's a shift in how what is that, Gen Z? Is that what you
Gen
call?
Z,
Yeah.
yes.
How they look at life. They don't want to be. It's like that commitment phobia to marriage kind of a thing. They don't want to be stuck to one corporate. They want to
Yes,
experiment
yes.
with life. If you want to cater to that generation, my vision is that Prakat should be inclusive in all ways to cater to those kind of things, which means you create modules of work where people, when they want to work, they can work,
Yeah.
modularize, give it to them. Have a lean, efficient team as your base will be full time, but experiment with a crowdsourced model.
Also to add on to that, I think after COVID, it's been more like work from home,
Yeah.
kind of a system has come in. So how is Prakat seeing it? How are you, following a system like that?
Yeah, it's ironic you asked this question again. When Prakat started in 2010, our vision was to make it a crowdsourced company,
Oh, is it? Okay.
which means only 10% of workforce should be
Oh,
in
okay.
a
So you
closed-
ideally already had that plan
yes,
of doing it.
but nobody bought it. Our corporates, the customers, They were all large corporates. They said, you're too early in the game. It's difficult to do that. Uh, uh, things like that. So COVID pushed everybody in that direction finally, right? So only 30% of our workforce work in this cute office here.
Okay.
The rest of them are in their farmlands in Andhra,
Oh,
God knows where, and happily working.
okay. So this is your headquarter, right? If I'm
Bangalore.
not wrong.
We are headquartered in San Diego,
Okay.
but Bangalore is our main center.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, we were ahead of our times, but that has become a norm now.
Yeah, okay. So netizens have a talk over saying, China has a DeepSeek and US has Meta. And they also say India is having AstroTalk. So what do you have to say on this?
No, I am not an astrologer. I can't predict the future, but I can, in a true AI spirit, I can look at the past trends and make a prediction. Okay, what happened with payment systems? India was being laughed at. Oh, banks are not there in rural, blah, blah, blah. You know all that. Today, I work in the fintech space and we are supporting a US not for profit. I can't tell much. It's a consortium of about 300 fintechs and financial services companies, large names. Okay. And there we are their sole tech partner where we are building the engine for data exchange between various financial institutions.
Okay.
You know what they value us for? We are valued not just because of our skin color, but the fact that India was ahead in the journey of payment systems. We disrupted the world with UPI. Government took that initiative. We all know, you know what I'm talking about, right? So what I'm saying is sometimes we begin a little late, we warm up a little late, we soak in things, we imbibe things from others, and with a bang. We go. How big is India as a country? How much population is there? How could the government unify payment systems like that? Why are large so-called developed countries, I don't know what your podcast is being broadcast for. I'm controversial in all this. So-called developed countries are still struggling to unify their payment systems. So the astrologer or the data analytics within me, in my heart and my brain, is telling me that in the future we'll come with a bang which will disrupt.
Okay, to add on to this, I have a question. Okay, so as a woman entrepreneur, okay,
I forgot that I'm a woman. Okay, thanks for reminding.
so
You asked me to come in a sari.
so what are the challenges you have traveled across, right? So what are the challenges you see over in India or over in different countries as a woman entrepreneur? Is there different kind of a challenges?
So I have gone through highs and lows in my entrepreneurial journey. If I observe and critically analyze it, the lows are not because I was a woman or somebody externally differentiated me because I'm a woman. No, nobody has ever done that to me. That means it's about how you present yourself, project yourself. But it is that internal woman in me that shackles the cage I talk about. Somewhere I hesitate. Somewhere I take a step back. Somewhere I struggle to make a decision. Those are the challenges.
So you think that it is the push from within self which should have been there?
If I have failed, if I have succeeded, I've seen both, right, in my entrepreneurial journey. When I have, not if I have, when I have succeeded, it is because I have gone into it. I've been a risk taker. I have gone into it daringly, solved problems on the way, not deterred by anything. I didn't try to misuse my status as a woman, abla nari status. I don't like privileges. Again, I'm controversial. I don't like the fact that today's women get 6 months for maternity leave and still crib. Okay?
Right.
So we didn't have that privilege. I think my kids are far more resilient than. Look at it scientifically. If you try, okay, what did we tell ourselves? If we trust other people to be caregivers, there are so many solutions today. There are CCTVs to monitor your children. I didn't have all that, right?
Correct, yes.
So if you trust, okay, be suspicious. Still, there are these solutions, right? In spite of that, if you overextend, if you want to be a working woman, there is nothing wrong in being a homemaker. It's beautiful.
Yes,
But if you
yes.
want to be a working professional, then be true to that. Don't expect privileges and then
Yeah, correct.
I'm pro men here, very pro men here. Okay, the women will either love me or hate me for saying this, but the men will definitely love me for saying this. Okay, why do you want to mess with the career of another man who has to struggle to make a living to run his family because you want privileges, you want so much leave, you want that this seat kept for you? It's unfair.
Yes, yes.
You made a choice to be a
Yes,
professional.
correct, correct.
You have to convince your family that this is how it's going to be.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you on this, yes.
Yeah, you have to talk, you have to fight. Life is, see, I obviously, because at the end of it, it's a beautiful journey. Do you think I wouldn't have had struggles at home? I did get jibes at home
Yeah.
from, you know.
No, that
Okay.
happens. That's there in everybody's, life, I guess.
But I fought it. With data, you give facts and data. My own children sometimes, they are my best supporters. But at times when they want to hit back, they want to take revenge.
I'm sure
Okay.
everybody would have challenges, successful entrepreneur or a running entrepreneur right now will have
So
challenges.
to your question on Indian women versus, let me
Yeah.
come back to that.
Yes.
I've not lost
Okay.
track. I tell a story. I'm a storyteller, but I haven't lost track of your question.
Huh.
Indian women have it better. I'll tell you why. We love our parents-in-law. We allow them to take care of their children. We listen to them. Do not ever lose that essence of joint family. Even if you're living in a nuclear environment, you know what I'm saying.
Yes,
You
yes,
can
yes,
still
yes.
tell your mom or mom-in-law, I'm just saying, please take care. That is not so easy in other countries.
No.
I see
Yeah,
the
correct.
people there struggle. The women there actually struggle much more than us. If you statistically look at it, okay, in India, look at politics. How many women leaders are there? Okay, even in tech.
Yeah. lot of
Okay,
them.
of course the glass ceiling, all the thing is there, but it's much better, right? Statistically, Indian women have done much better overall
Okay.
than the Western counterparts. But guess what? Our population pyramid messes with us, and I have no idea. You must tell what your AI meta says about it. But if you look at it in tech and certain, what is this, white collar jobs? Huh? What are we referring this to? These are white collar jobs. Definitely, women are ruling compared to the Western counterparts. Wasn't that your question? Even as an entrepreneur, look at the irony of the situation. You did call out that I travel a lot. Okay, my dipstick in US and UK. I've not done other countries as an entrepreneur. Mainly, my karma bhumi has been US, India, and now a little bit in UK. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Do you know, I have never met a woman entrepreneur. On the other side of the table, it's always men for me.
Yeah, that was actually a
Do
question.
you
for
know
me.
that? Sad, isn't it?
Yes.
Six
yes.
men
yes.
and women
Definitely.
in
Definitely.
the developed countries. 6 men and a woman in developed countries in 2024. I've not traveled in 25.
Right. So actually, that was also one of my next questions. So
I may sound crazily
no,
patriotic
that's
again.
that's
but
completely
yeah.
all right. That is what I also wanted. Okay. So as a woman, what were the struggles for you for funding your company? Was there actually
Now
a
you're
struggle
asking,
being a woman?
Of course, funding struggle was there. Okay, not because I'm a one, but we still, thanks to good, well-meaning friends and well-wishers, we crowd-funded the initial part of our growth. Prakat is a crowd-funded entity, so that was easy. But I was trying to tell earlier that it was easy for me to start off and take it to a next level. I struggled in the mid phase of the company. Scaling was difficult because for scaling, I couldn't rely on my past experience in corporate and my own personal credentials. My own personal credentials was useful in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, Anu, we are aware that.
Right.
But how long will it take you? So I think I struggled there.
Okay.
So we saw some failures. Rose comes with thorns. There were several thorns, right? So we did see a lot of failures, setbacks, and then again we had to build up from scratch.
Okay.
The setbacks also, okay, when you work in beautiful corporates where I have been well supported by my leaders, peers, and subordinates, you're not ready for a toxic thing in your own uh, journey. Trust me, I was safer in the corporate. As an entrepreneur, I was vulnerable because I assumed if you are good, if your intent is right, everybody around you,
Yeah.
that didn't work for me. And a very wise friend, entrepreneur, who would again quit his corporate journey in Infosys, and then I I was so broken-hearted that somebody who I trusted so much let me down, let's say. And typical woman, I cried my heart out. He said, Anu, this is your problem. You think the world is beautiful because you
Correct.
think of, not everybody is like you. And when you work in corporates like Infosys, which gives you that cushion to fail and
Yeah.
fail safe and then grow, get up and run again, you don't think somebody can do that to you.
Correct,
So that is the
correct.
first lesson as an
Done.
entrepreneur. Those were my challenges.
Okay. Okay. I would like to know more about your success, right? So, how do you measure your success?
See, right now, if you come to my office, which is 2 blocks away, they'll say she's no more working for Prakat as CEO, she's a Rotary president. That's the joke from them. But for me, I'm 52-year-old. I think that balance is needed. Okay, but success for me is this balance of things where I built a company which is self sufficient. So I tell them, do you know why I am out doing this Rotary service work? Because I'm confident that you guys are there.
Correct, correct.
You'll, you'll hold the fort. Maybe growth will be affected because I'm the growth person, meaning in terms of revenue
Yeah.
and all, a little bit re-channelizing, re-strategizing. But this 1 year is like sitting back, analyzing, and then you go for the kill. Right? Sometimes the same thing.
Sometimes
You
it
asked that
happens,
question
yeah.
about AI in the
Yeah, yeah.
same thing, right? Sometimes it's good to sit back, analyze, and bounce back. Somewhere we are in that journey now, and for me, I'm very happy in a space where I think I'm able to balance. Success for me is that balancing my entrepreneurial journey, make sure salaries go in time, make sure everybody's happy, and then my kids' journey. That
So,
will
what kind of strategies you have used to build in such a strong team?
strategies.
Yeah.
Wow, these big words sometimes baffle me.
I know.
Seriously, it baffles me. More than strategy, it is pure, raw human connect.
Okay.
Trust.
Okay. Okay.
You call it strategy, you call it. See, by adopting this thing that I trust you, I have trusted you
Yes.
to put
Yes.
out the right things in this podcast, right? Did I check on you? No. I haven't.
No,
I've trusted
yes.
your intent
Correct.
towards
correct,
this
yeah.
podcast. If you live with that, 80-90% of the time, good things will happen. 10% somebody will mess with you. That is learning. I don't want to being very rigid and not trusting. I don't want to mess up with the good 80-90%, right?
Okay.
So foundation is trust. Cliched words like what do you guys call it? My God, empower others. I'm sorry, I'm being sarcastic, cynical, whatever you want to call it. These are all overused, cliched words. Empowerment, delegation, blah blah blah. Most important, take them along with your journey. Show them
That's
your
more important.
vulnerability
Yeah.
also. Don't no pretense. When you are going through a tough time, tell some of the key people. You don't want to ruffle the feathers everywhere. But top 10% of the company, you should be transparent and naked in your thought process, so that is the learning. That is the MBA course. They grow along with you.
Correct.
So by doing that, I've had leadership for the last
That is what I
10
was
years.
coming
So sorry.
for. Huh.
Yeah, you want to ask the question? you can ask the question.
No, that's fine. You
No,
please
so
continue.
why am I running around doing this podcast, wearing a sari on a hot day, and working in Rotary, where it's totally service, right? Because the leadership is strong. Okay, they have been with me over 8-10 years in good and bad times. Why did they do it? Is it because we have sexy compensation? No. They have been with me more in tough times when, let's say, we did go through some down here, because when large companies sometimes when they scale and they get acquired, uh, a lot of layoffs happen in their own
Yeah,
company,
yeah,
as
yeah.
well as vendors get
Correct.
silent
Correct.
because they want to go with one large partner. It's nobody's fault, but we've had a good run for 10,
Yes.
12 years, right? Let's say in a company. So that when these things happen, this is the test of time. These people stood by me
So you say leadership is more about trusting
and being
and
open,
being
transparent. I use the word mentally naked. Right? You have to be vulnerable. You have to be everything. You have to truly treat them like your work family.
right, right.
And then it happens.
Okay.
Does that sum up the word strategy? Maybe.
Okay, so those were few terms, now everybody is
I
using.
know
So
everybody
that's
uses
how
that.
it is.
Everybody uses it all along.
Okay. So what is the piece of advice you would love to give it to the young women entrepreneurs?
I think I covered it in my storytelling mostly, but I would say first I want to advise myself to be relevant to the younger generation. First step is that cleanse yourself, cleanse your own aura, go, remove your past. What is that? All the skin and scrub yourself, and then only you can advise. First advice is that. And advice to young women, they have a lot more opportunities in today's India. If you're talking about India, this podcast is for Indian audience, right? There is just Bangalore, just look at that. Many people come from other cities to Bangalore because it's so thriving and they build their lives.
And a lot of
So,
opportunities available.
opportunities, right? Network. So don't cage yourself with all kinds of stories. I've seen young women, I'm saying these very, very bare facts and not your I am jargons. They can go to I am Bangalore and learn all that. I'm giving life lessons. Love, relationships, everything is important. Don't let go of it. But the breakup has to fuel something positive in you. If there is a breakup, or some heartburn, or some resistance in your family, parents, whatever, has to fuel something positive in you, is what I'm trying to tell.
Right.
And rely on built networks. Go talk to many people, network with as many
as
kind of people as possible. Okay? And have faith in your own concept and idea, but don't become rigid where if somebody is trying to say, hey, I've seen this may be a better way, try to see how to. You learn from life. So, networking is very important. Creating win-win conversations. Whether it matters to you or not, create win-win networks. If you see that Sukita could be leveraged by somebody you know, make the connect quickly. Life will come back to you. The universe will come back. So if you go on like this and create that matrix, it will happen. And do not forget rudimentary aspects of your business. Financially be frugal, but networks are very important.
Lovely said, ma'am. Lovely said. So many to take in from here. I would like to ask one more thing. For example, even you mentioned we have beautiful homemakers, right? So, our
My mother
homes-
is the most strongest human being in the world. I want to be like her in old age.
House is not a house, when it is beautified. Okay, so house becomes home when obviously homemakers
I use
are
the word
there.
home, right? Yeah.
So what is that you have to tell for homemakers?
I look at homemaker this way. What was Chanakya to Chandragupta? I don't know where this came from. It just came.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
What was Chanakya to Chandragupta? He was the force behind Chandragupta, right?
Right.
You need that cushion and peace at home. Think about it. If there were no homemakers and everybody was running around in the world, it will be chaotic.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You need that cushion. So even a working woman has to have a part of homemaker in you.
Yes.
Like I get my points and brownie points from my daughters. I have a strategy for that. Once in 2 weeks, I cook some interesting things for them. So I would have earned my brownie points, and I know when I'll get into negative and I'll go back and get it back.
And I'm
to
sure that homemakers inspire, such kind of entrepreneurs as well. Because my mother is one homemaker. She is well educated, but then she's always told me, don't be at home.
So my mother did the same. So we are women of two different generations. You're 33, I'm 52.
Yes.
My mother told that.
Yes.
Anu, whatever you want, you
Habits.
go,
Yeah.
do. If you need help in taking care of your children, we are there.
Yes.
Both me and my mother-in-law, your husband, anybody, we'll all fall in line for you. And they did that.
Yeah. Correct.
So that, how will you do? For example, if, sorry, I don't know if this is the right way to put it. I use the word hunar. I told you before our conversation, I admire certain communities like the Marwadi Muslim community, where a lot of skill-based, apprenticeship-based learning is there. If everybody only wanted to become engineers, what happens to mechanics?
Correct.
Who will do?
Yeah.
My own entrepreneurship, or rather the businesses I built in Infosys is in the homemaker category, meaning the most rudimentary, mundane businesses I built.
Okay.
Because I like solving small problems on the ground. You need those kind of people. I'm not an innovator in products. While product innovations are happening, why should everybody be in innovation? Who will do the...
Yeah.
So the world balances itself, right? So I consider homemaker like these rudimentary operational businesses in large companies.
Lovely said by you, by the way.
She saves a lot of money. If a homemaker has to be paid today, you know what it is for all the skills.
Yes, of course.
Being,
Yeah.
the nanny cost and all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, of course.
So my own home, by virtue of me choosing to be an entrepreneur, whatever, is like a small-scale industry. There is a gardener, there's a full-time housekeeper who, this person, his name is Saravanan, he's my mother, local mother I call him. I'm the third child in the family. I can throw tantrums about my coffee and food. I need that freedom, right?
Right.
So there is a small-scale industry in my home. There is, so for one woman not being there at home as a homemaker, you've created a small-scale industry.
Yeah.
That is what is the equation. You want
Yes.
analytics, that's what it is.
Lovely said, ma'am. Lovely said. So, to conclude this, I would say, every woman should come out of their boundaries, by the way. So don't be in your boundary that you can't do. Come out of your boundary, you will be more confident about yourself. So that is what a take, we can take it from ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really lovely talking to you, and could know a lot of other aspects of, being an entrepreneur, a woman entrepreneur and things like that. Thank you so much, ma'am.